Okay, we have an emergency broadcast today, and it is shortly before 5 o'clock. We're coming up on the 5 o'clock hour, so let's see if we've got good audio on this puppy. And Lance is in the house. Okay, sounds good. Lance is in the house. Durr's in the house. Good, we've got a lot of professionals in here. Kevin's in the house. Morning, Stig. Wow, 005 sold. Kevin in the house, and Stig says, good evening, Craig and everybody. Lance is saying hi to a bunch of folks, and farewell, 005, we hardly knew you. Lewis R. in the house. Here's the 005 on wrist right there. We got news, breaking news, breaking news. And let's see, Kevin says, I wonder who bought it. Lance says, I'm sure that whoever bought the 005 will love it. It's one of the most stunning GS models. Kevin's in the house. Haha, Lewis, I felt the same way when I read the title. Yes, we are going to miss the look of it. I'm wearing mine in tribute, Lewis R. I can't believe the 05 is sold. Kind of sad, says Durr. And Lance is all over the place. Does yours have the black or blue dial? It was the unloved child. It wasn't its fault that it wasn't made of gold. Stig in the house. Well, Durr, we shall see for how long Craig can live without the quartz accuracy. Good point. Very, very good point. Also blue 005, but mine isn't going anywhere. Lewis, I don't blame you. Leon's in. We're going to talk about this. Leon's in the house. You know, I think there is more post here at 4:55 Eastern than during the whole yesterday's broadcast. That's a good point. Looks like it. If GS comes out with a new diver, the 231 may be next on the chopping block. Rig has no room for sentimentality. However you pronounce that word. Good choice. We know what he means. David's in the house. Hi, Craig and all. David just sold his 005. His 005 went down the road. LOL, there should be a ceremony for the 005. Bye-bye, big. Well, this is it. This is the ceremony. This is the outgoing ceremony. Lou says, we are live. Did you sell it to the port? Triforce Rich. I'm not going to say who bought it at this point. It's up to them to disclose who bought it. But I'm going to give you some details. Breaking news. Fellas in the house. Bit early for trolls. It seems like everyone is trying to get out of their 005s. I bet the 002 goes on the block next year. Craig mentioned once that he would never get rid of the 005. Did I really? Did I say that? Interesting. Wow. Maybe I shouldn't have sold it. But anyway, here it is on wrist. I'll tell you the status of the situation. Had a subscriber that said he wanted the watch. And and the money the price has been agreed on. The money has been wired. It is pending in my account. It should be finalized tomorrow. And if so, I'll ship it tomorrow. So this will be a farewell show to the 005. And I'll give you the reason why I sold it. I wasn't a super motivated seller. I didn't advertise it anywhere. I just talked about it here on the show. But I've said many times that if a watch is just sitting, if it's not getting wrist time, it pretty much has to go. I mean, that's kind of my rule of thumb on watches. And until I got the 002, this watch definitely had a place in my rotation. I wore it any time I wore a dress shirt because, as I've said before, my big 231 just will not fit underneath the cuff of a dress shirt. At least not for me, it won't. Because my wrists are kind of big for the size of the shirt I wear, and I don't get custom-made shirts. So, you know, I've got that problem where a bigger watch is just tight under the cuff. This worked under the cuff. It worked fine. So it worked in rotation. And then I got the 002, and that's game over. I just, you know, with the 002, the beauty on the left there for anyone new to the channel, it just is the perfect dress watch. Just the absolute perfect dress watch. And then I said, well, maybe I should keep this watch just as a travel watch. I usually travel up and down the East Coast. I don't really need a GMT. functionality, especially not now with everything shut down. And so I just thought it would just sit a lot. And then we see the lovely Bree Fit Dance in the chat. She's going to be part of the story as well. Let me get caught up on these comments, and I'll finish on my story here. Yes, it is sad, and I will miss comparing the accuracy with the other watches. Wait, did Craig sell the 005? Wow, says Blue. Craig may have sold it to Chip Wong. Uh-oh, I hope not. The Dubai expat, how is the situation with Corona in the U.S., Craig? That's hard to say. You know, the media hypes everything up, but I think I think most states are doing pretty good. I think even the so-called hot spots, Florida, Texas, and California, are on the downward trend. So I think things are going pretty well, but we shall see. Just makes a lot of beauties. It's hard to stay faithful to one model for long. Lewis says in the house, Craig, you buy and sell watches too. This is why you have to buy Rolex and Patek Philippe, I guess he means. Well, I'm not so sure about all that. We're always searching for the perfect watch. I mean, that I've been doing my whole life, but I usually keep watches for quite a while. Obviously with GS, you know, it's taken me a little while to kind of settle in to a rotation. Now, hey, if they come out with a better diver solution with some improvements on my current diver, you know, I'm not against upgrading. I'm never against upgrading, but it has to be an upgrade. So, and I think the 002 there on the left, that was a major upgrade from the 005. I like the 005, but I have to tell you the 002 I think is an upgrade. Just telling you. Now, if this had micro adjustments, would I still have it? It's possible. It's possible. That's a thing that's kind of nagging me. Like, this is a little bit snug right now. This watch is sized to wear more in the winter time, right? So it's a little bit snug right now on wrist. So that's a thing, right? The 002 with that leather strap is super comfortable. And of course, very easy to adjust if I need to, but it's got enough versatility, enough flexibility in there that it feels great on wrist. I never thought I would say that I like a strap, but that particular strap with that particular deployant, with that particular watch, the way it sits on the wrist, it is fantastic comfort. I can tell right now, this watch on my wrist right now is not as comfortable as if I would have the 002 on my wrist right this moment. That's just the truth. So, and as you know, I buy my watches to wear them. Let's see. Leon says, well, at least it is going to a good home. It was not really being loved, just sitting there all by itself. I hear you. It needs wrist time. Kevin says, morning to Bree. I don't blame him. Durr's in the house. I'm going to be sad not seeing the 05 on the screen. I can honestly recall the last time I saw it on wrist. I can't honestly recall the last time I saw it on wrist during a show, though. It's been a while. I did wear it in one show not too long ago, but that was a forced wear almost. David's in the house. Same here, Craig. Not worn, then needs a new home. Triforce Rich is in the house. He had it on not too long ago, Durr. Think he wore it just to force it on. Yeah, you're right. That's what I just said. You know, brilliant minds think alike, it would appear. Lewis is in the house. I was tempted by Steve's SBGA373, but I prefer dark dials for visibility. And we're going to talk about that, the visibility thing. Yep. Sad to see it go, but it makes sense. Time to add a Pepsi to the collection during the house. Nobody really needs a GMT, but they're just too cool not to have one. Buy Explorer 2 next. Yeah, but see, I don't think I can go back to Rolex. I don't think I can. But we're going to talk about Rolex today because I think for the lovely Bree, it might be the solution for the lovely Brianna. Okay, so Leon's in the house. I already read that one. Okay. Even Craig knows that the Rolex GMT is the best in the business. I don't think I can go back to a watch that's not as accurate. I've gotten spoiled by the accuracy of the spring drive, not to mention the 9F. I mean, forget about it. But even the spring drive, I've been absolutely spoiled. Let's see, the Dubai expat, fingers crossed, U.S. is getting better. I might be going to Texas soon. First time for me in the U.S., by the way. Okay, cool. Let us know. Let's see. Craig, I think you should get an FP Jorn that would look good on you and fit to your style. Hey, it's hard to trump that 002. I'm telling you, it is hard. We tried. We tried. We had a couple of shows where people were trying to suggest alternatives to the 002 that would trump the 002. And we scoured the interwebs and we could not find anything that would trump the 002 at any price. At any price. So that's interesting. Kevin's in the house. I think so too. Okay, Craig has 2-watch rotation, no more needed. Blue in the house. He needs a 40-watch rotation like the Dubai expat. Yes, I'm really excited. Want to visit the Space Center and have good burgers. Looking forward to know some American lifestyle. Cool, cool. And Dur's in the house. Most comfortable watches out of all my pieces on the wrist are my 2 Hublot watches. Okay, Hublot. Okay, and Jaden's in the house. Is the 005 the most accurate watch you've ever owned? Well, of course, the Apple Watch is always right on the money, right? I mean, but that's not the same thing. Yeah, I mean, I think absolutely. I don't think it's even a close call. The 005's amazing. Craig, the Explorer 2 Polar 41 millimeter is the best. I would much rather have a Pepsi than that, tell you the truth. And Cheetown says, Craig, how does it feel to be one watch guy now? I still have 2 watches. There they are. They're my watches that are will be my new rotation once the 005 is shipped. So that's my rotation, and I'm sticking with it. Let's see here. Craig, you should buy the 9F Diver. It looks the same as the 231, but it's even more accurate. I don't think it looks the same, and I don't think it is titanium, is it? It would have to be titanium. That would be tempting if it was titanium. Let's see. Craig could totally pull off a GMT ceramic Pepsi. Triforce Rich. Forget about the accuracy, which isn't bad at all. And let's look at aesthetics. You wore the Rolex GMT for decades. You know it looks damn good. I'm not even in love with Rolex anymore, but GMT. Oh, they look great, but I think my 231 looks great. I think that diver right there on the right looks great on the wrist. I actually prefer that bracelet to an Oyster bracelet, for example. Now, if I got a Jubilee bracelet, if I got like a Pepsi on the Jubilee, that would be stunning. And it would be thinner. It would be thinner. So, yeah, I think that would be stunning on wrist. But I think the 231 looks pretty good on wrist. Let's see. Needs a watch that adapts to my activities. The lovely Bree Fit Dance. Okay, Bree, let us know if you can call in to discuss your watch situation. And if not, we're going to discuss it anyway. But if you can call in, then we can talk to you a little bit about it, and then we can do some surfing and get some suggestions for the lovely Brianna, because that's the other benefit here. I was thinking about giving Bree the 005. And then when she was here last, she tried it on, and believe it or not, it's too big for her wrist. There's just no way it would have worked. We tried. We put it on her wrist, and it just overlapped. I mean, there's no way it would work. She needs a small watch, folks. She needs like a lady's Rolex, something like that. So, now that I've sold the 005, I can take that money and set it aside, and maybe we'll put some more money with it and maybe get something for the lovely Brianna. So we need to talk about watch options for the lovely Brianna. I'm thinking about a 6-digit ladies Rolex. So think about the models that would be, ladies size. I'm not talking 36 mil, not even 34 mil. It's got to be smaller than that to fit her. So it's got to be a straight up ladies size. But see, the reason I'm thinking about Rolex for her is I don't think Grand Seiko makes anything that size that has a screw-down crown. That's a straight-up waterproof watch, and she needs a straight-up waterproof watch, the lovely Brianna. She's very active. So I'm thinking about a lady's Rolex. So I've found a few on Chrono 24 that we'll show here in a minute, but put your thinking caps on, gentlemen. Put your thinking caps on, gentlemen, and about a 6-digit ladies Rolex. Okay. Wow, whoever bought the 005 must be a jerk to break Craig's ultimate 3-piece GS trilogy. Uh-oh. Oh, well. I'm sure it's going to a good home. So there's that. Triforce Rich is in the house, Deport TGV 2020. You don't say. David Williams, I thought Vegas is full of California expats. Okay. I meant, how does it feel to be a 2-watch guy now? Well, that's what I've been most of my watch life, is I've usually had a 2-watch rotation. So this is actually normal. This is feeling normal. David's in the house. Of course, I won't really have the full feeling until after tomorrow, after the watch is shipped out. Then I'll really, right now I still have all 3 watches sitting here. So it's hard for me to say, but ask me again tomorrow, then we'll know. Check out FP Jorn, chronometer, blue, front and back, and you will be in love with it. Okay. Send me a link. We'll take a look. Leon's in the house. I have no interest in a smartwatch, and buying another Apple product is no bueno. Okay. I don't think you can use smartwatch and Apple in the same sentence. I like my Apple Watch. I have to tell you, I wore it actually for a couple of years on and off, and it's actually pretty cool. So, yeah, I don't like the fact that it's real dim in the sunlight, so there's a couple things I didn't like about it, but generally speaking, it was pretty freaking awesome. Kyle's in the house. Leon's in the house. I don't think anybody that owns a 231 sells it, as all I see for sale is the steel 229. Yep, you're right. Most of them that are for sale are the 229. You are correct on that. Kyle's in the house. Congrats on the sale. And Triforce Rich, Craig is right that the 231 is the way to go. The 229 is a mountain of steel, and the 231 solves the problem. There you go. Someone needs to step up and buy her an Oyster Perpetual 34. I think she needs to go smaller than that. I think she needs to go smaller than 34 mil. Her wrist is tiny. I mean, tiny, tiny. I think she has to go with a lady's size. What are they, 27 mil or 20? There's a couple different ladies' sizes. Okay, let's look at an example. See here? See this one, this 179, 174. Okay. The only thing about that is I would rather have the Jubilee bracelet, I think. You know, I think that would be more the way to go. But let's just see what the size of this one is. It's 26 mil. So yeah, that's the size I think we're talking about. Okay. I could chat here. Okay, good. Yeah, just keep watching and comment on the ones that we're bringing up on the screen, Bree. Maybe they'll come up with some suggestions. If somebody has a suggestion and you want to send me a link, a Chrono 24 link, if you can pull up a watch, and not that I'm going to buy it from Chrono 24, but we're just using this as a way to kind of ferret out some options. Lance, maybe you can find something. Bree should get a 26 mil day chest. Exactly. Or 26 mil Oyster Perpetual. I don't think she needs the date. Because again, that's on her phone. So maybe it'd be cleaner looking to not even have the date on there. So keep that in mind, a 6-digit, without the date. But I want to go with 6-digit. I want to go with a fairly modern piece. I don't want to get something that's going to give her trouble. Let's see here. Bree needs a 35 millimeter blue date just white gold on Jubilee Sporty. But yeah, it's too big. It's going to be too big. I got the same issue as Bree. I need a small watch like 35 to 40. Triforce Rich, a 31 mil date just would look great on Bree. One of my friends rocks one and it looks great. Well, 31 might work. 31 might work. Bree should get a 26 mil date just. Yeah, I think 26 would be even better. But I think she might be able to push to a 31 if we can find something interesting. Get her a 31 mil Oyster Perpetual, Leon says. Okay. Maybe somebody can find some links and send them and we can take a look. Cheetown, what about an Oyster Perpetual 31 or Oyster Perpetual 26 for Bree? No polished center links of date to worry about. I agree, Cheetown. See if you can find anything interesting on Chrono 24 and we can pull it up and take a look. Triforce Rich, my fiance has one. It fits well enough, but if buying a new 31 millimeter is the better option, still want something sporty. Did Lance buy it? Trying to get me to slip and say who bought the watch. I'm not gonna release that information. 26 is much more like ladylike. Kyle in the house. Yeah, and she's got a very small wrist. So she's strong but small. Lance is in the house. I didn't buy the 05. Hey, you should have kept them guessing, Lance. Lewis is in the house. Maybe Craig should replace the 005 with an 8-day spring drive Crador. Rep Rex just tuned in. How come you sold the GMT? You're going to have to go back and watch the beginning of the show. The short answer is I just haven't been wearing it. I'm down to a 2-watch rotation. These two right here are getting the job done for me. One for sport, most of the wear, that's the 231 on the right, and the 002 for dress. And basically I just wasn't wearing the GMT. And when I'm not wearing a watch, it goes. Maybe Craig just tuned in. How come you sold it? Okay, Apple Watch is an option. Yes, Bree. We're going to have to see if the small Apple Watch, the smaller size, if that fits you okay. So we're going to have to check that. Because I agree, that would be a very functional piece for you. And those are waterproof also. Your first watch, we want it to be something very functional for you and very durable and waterproof and all that. And it doesn't have to be the ultimate watch. It can be a starter watch. And an Apple Watch, you're very active on social media and all that. It would probably be very helpful for you. So I agree. We're going to definitely look at that as well. But we would get a stainless steel one for you. We wouldn't want to get the junk aluminum one. We'd get the stainless steel one for you. But we should definitely look at that also. Triforce Rich is in, but we have to set some goals for you to achieve before you get either. So there you go. Triforce Rich, I heard an evil turtle that likes fighting with an Italian plumber bought it, but that may just be gossip. The Port TGV 2020, you're right. It's like Yoko breaking up with the Beatles, so that person buying the 003 is a jerk. You mean 005. Craig, did Dogman buy your 005? And the lovely Leslie's in the house. Craig, I went with your advice and sold my car and bought a Lexus. Whoa! Which Lexus? Do tell. Do tell. Do tell. Which Lexus? Most people don't use any word with smartwatch other than Apple. Oh, yeah, Apple is, yeah, absolutely. It's the only way to go if you're going to buy something like that. The Apple Watch is fantastic. All the rest of them are junk. Leslie's in the house. I'm done with it. Done. Wait, did you buy the Lexus and then you're done with that? Or you were done with the other car? Please tell. Do tell. Did I miss who bought the 005 Mike? That has not been released yet. That the buyer will decide if they want to release that information. I'm not authorized to release that information, so I'm not going to release that information. But if the buyer wants to say so, then that's up to them. There's in the house. No, I think Oyster Perpetual 34 is the way to go for Bree. There's also a grape dial, which pretty much matches the color of her logo as well. We'll have to see if an Oyster Perpetual 34 will fit her. You don't understand, Dur, how tiny her wrist is. Like I say, I couldn't get this one to fit to save my life. And this has a pretty short lug to lug. Okay? And it just overlapped her. I mean, it just was ridiculous. Bree, let us know in the chat if you remember when we tried to fit this watch to your wrist. Tell them what it was like, in case they don't believe me. Let's see. I've heard Chip Wong bought the 005 so that he can use his Bitcoin profits to make a Craig clone from the DNA. Yeah, I'm not going to... The buyer did ask that I not clean the watch and that I send it, fresh off the wrist. So, for whatever that's worth. Thought it was kind of an unusual request, but I'll go with it. The port TGV 2020 said... oh yeah, I just read that one. Okay, Jaden says 27 millimeter is great on a slender lady's wrist. 34 mil plus if a big mama. Yeah, I hear you. And Brett is in the house. He says, "What's good, fellas? Craig, we're getting that BTC run up, baby. Is it running up now? Or it was just over 11,000 when I went live. Is it 11,222? Is that right? Or is that... Trying to reload this page. If I can get it to reload, it always acts up. But it'll be interesting to see if we don't have a pullback. We've had quite a run up here, and it'll be interesting to see if it doesn't take a breather and pull back a little bit. Somebody was saying that it'll probably pull back to like 10,500 or something. But who knows? Who knows? There's where we're sitting right now, 11,226. Quite a run up. Quite a run up, that's for sure. I would really rather see it go up more gradually. I'm not a big fan of these big, quick run-ups because then you tend to have some pullbacks. I'd rather have more of a gradual up the whole time. But, hey, it is Bitcoin. This is what Bitcoin does. So Bitcoin doesn't care what we want. That's how that whole thing works. Triforce Rich, Deport TGV 2020, he's laughing. Not going to lie, I was thinking the same thing, but Craig still has the watch, so let's not divulge too much info to Craig, okay? And Leslie says, Cheetown, California, she's, okay. Leslie, you haven't told us which car you bought, which Lexus, for gosh sakes. Cheetown's asking again, which model Lexus did you get? I think the chocolate dial looks great with gold. Mike in the house. How about an AP Royal Oak steel 37 millimeter for... That ain't happening. We're not getting her an ugly watch. She's too classy a lady to wear an ugly watch. Lance is in the house. Sent an email of a great Rolex for Bree. Okay. And Deport TGV 2020 says true. Leslie says 2005 ES 330. Okay, so you bought the front wheel drive. It'll still be fine. It'll be fine. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that model that much, but I'm guessing that the ES330 is that an SUV or is that the sedan? I don't know the models on those. So yeah, any Lexus is going to be good. Keep the fluids changed in it, and I'm sure you had somebody check it over to make sure it had not been hit and fixed or anything like that. Make sure all the panels are original and all that kind of stuff. All the paint should be original, all that kind of stuff. Hopefully you had it checked out. Which car did you sell? Okay, we got that. Leslie, ES is a great car. I own one myself. A little boring to drive, but very reliable. That's what you want in a car. Bree probably wants the Cyclops so she can flex a bit. So maybe date just over an Oyster Perpetual. And let's see. David says reliability, especially in Southern California, is paramount. Craig sent you an email with some... Okay, let's take a look. Do you like what? Yeah, well, it has to be waterproof. Absolutely. Bree says I like waterproof. Well, yeah, I mean it's going to have to be. It's going to have to be waterproof. Okay. Let me pull up this. We've got one. Oh, jeez. Okay. He wants her to have an all gold. He wants her to have an all gold. Okay, I'll add this to my watch list here. He wants Bree to go all gold. Well, that's interesting. That's very interesting, Lance. It's not a bad price. Wow. He wants Bree to go all gold. We used to call that a lady date back in the day with the president bracelet. That's, yeah. That's not a bad price. I wanted to buy a more modern one for her, though, but my gosh, that would be tempting. That would absolutely be tempting. Wow. Lance, I'll tell you what, you really do want Bree to go classy all the way. Wow. And she's a class act, so that might be a good suggestion, I have to say. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh, let me look at these other emails real quick. Here's an Oyster Perpetual. I think that her first watch, these are Oyster Perpetual 34s. And again, I think those might be a little bit big on her wrist. We're going to go to the AD and look at some watches and see what kind of deal the AD would give us on a new unit. Yeah, we'll have to definitely check out the 34 to see if it will fit okay on her wrist. And Cheetown, he's the only one that followed instructions and actually sent a Chrono 24 link. Oh, it's a search. Okay. So this is a search of that model there, 176234. So just kind of glancing through here. So these are, I guess these are all on an Oyster bracelet. I don't like the funky dials, some of these really funky dials. I don't think that would be a good move for her to get something funky. And a bunch of these seem to be. That one's interesting. It's kind of interesting. Oh man, is that a big gouge on it? Or is that just something in the picture? Hard to tell. I think that was just something in the picture. Okay. All right. We're getting some contenders. Let's see here. Leslie says, I sold my Suzuki for ES, LOL. Upgrade. Yeah, I was looking for something reliable and safe. My life is too precious. Absolutely. I can't go wrong with either of those, Craig. You have two great watches there. Okay, you're talking about the rotation there? Absolutely. And Bree says, I do like waterproof. Absolutely. Kyle, Apple Watches are not. Yes, they are. The new Apple Watches are waterproof. Never ever buy an Apple Watch. I spent $800 on mine and it broke in the jacuzzi. Not a good watch for active people. Well, they should hold up. Mine, I never had any problems with mine. So maybe you just had a bad experience with it, Kyle. Let's see. Waterproof and durable, I guess. Cartier Tank is out of the running. G-Shock is what to get if you want something affordable and waterproof. The Dogman is broke. Really? Is that the latest news? Let's see. Suzuki. Okay. You already set the mark for Bree's Rolex. You said if she gets 1,000 subs, you'll buy her a Rolex. Triforce Rich. Well, absolutely. That should be a celebration. Oh, what am I showing my watch? Okay. Absolutely. 1,000 subs should be a celebration. But we'll probably end up getting her a watch before that, I'm thinking. Let's see. Durr's in the house. I think the grape dial Oyster Petrol is the way to go for Bree. Okay, I think I already read that. Okay. Also, they are obsolete after about 3 years. The $10,000 gold edition for 2000 won't accept new operating systems. Yeah, that was a fail. Leslie's in the house. Suzuki Sidekick, Deport TGV 2020. Okay. The buyer of the 005 is the buyer of the 005 in the chat today. Oh, they want me to slip and kind of give a hint. I'm not going to slip. I'm a professional broadcaster. Triforce Rich is in the house. Let's see. I think Bree should get a deep sea. Why don't you sell her yours? I bet Kyle bought it. No, Kyle didn't buy it. Kyle says, we need to know who bought the 005. Well, maybe somebody should fess up if they want to fess up. Cheetown's in the house. Gold Apple Watch is bought by people who literally like throwing away money. Blue, let's see, brief attendance. It felt like an oversized shirt. Okay, so you're talking about this watch when we tried this one on. I think it just wouldn't work. We just couldn't get it. I don't think we could get it to work no matter what. You look great in an oversized shirt, by the way, but I don't think we could make this work as well as an oversized shirt. So there you go. Let's see. Durr says Triforce Rich is definitely up for grabs. Might be a little bit of a pricey option. Okay, who bought it, Craig? How many BTC did you get for it? Brett is in the house. Unfortunately, I got fiat dollars. Okay, I'm gonna find a picture of Brianna in an oversized shirt, just to prove that she looks great in an oversized shirt. Let me see if I can find it here. Find an example of her in an oversized shirt. Where can we find one? Some of these I actually cannot show you. Where is, well, that's a little bit racy, but, oh, here's one a little less racy. Yeah, here's one I think that I can show you. Yeah, we'll show you this one. Okay. All right, this is Bree in an oversized shirt. I think she looks okay in an oversized shirt. So that's okay. But the watch was too oversized. So, BreeFitDance.com, folks, to see more of the lovely Lady Brianna. Okay, let's see what else we got here. I feel like the SBGN007 and SBGN005 wear like a 36 millimeter. I mean, this wear is nice and small on my wrist. It might. Absolutely. But it wouldn't fit Bree. It was way big. I'm telling you, she needs a small watch. How do we know the buyer is a viewer? How do we know? Because I just told you. Brett is in the house, 15K on deck here soon. You really think so? You think Bitcoin's going to pump to 15K soon? Okay. Triforce Rich is in the house, 2020. LOL, this is too funny. Craig's signature on the 005 paperwork may be worth something one day. I don't think my signature's on it. My name's on it. I don't think I signed it. But a full kit of a watch, a Grand Seiko, originally owned by me, yeah, that could be really something someday. Yeah. Okay. Craig, soon we will have 5 to 10K days. If everybody starts FOMOing in, it absolutely could happen. Craig is the best GS salesman in North America, Deport TGV 2020 says. Now please get Derek says, now please get the date 8. You promised, Craig. No, we're going to get a watch for the lovely Brianna before I get any other watch for me. She comes first. Stay focused, Derek. Stay focused. I know you get off on tangents, but stay focused. The lovely Brianna comes first. What watch does Leslie have? I can't remember. Maybe she will tell us. And Brett's in the house. A sedan, Craig. Yeah, that's basically the Lexus that's based on a Camry, right? Chassis, right? I think but it's just better in every way. Yeah, I think that's cool. I think that's the way to go. Us hooligans demand rear-wheel drive. But see, an LS sedan might have been a little bit big for her. That might have been a little bit too big to go with an LS sedan. Let's see, not bad. Briefit Dan says, not bad for a classy dinner. Oh, are you talking about the gold Rolex? The gold Rolex, Bree? See, I'm always behind in the chat, so you've got to indicate kind of what you're talking about so that I know what the heck you're talking about. A dinner with me, Bree? Oh, Blue's making a move. Hey, you can't blame him for that. I'll wear Craig's old gold stunner, and you wear that. Okay, there you go. Be a Patreon, Blue. I love it. The lovely Bree, she says, okay, step up. Yeah, if you want to step up, step up. Triforce Rich is in the house at Bree for Dance. How about a Tudor? Yeah, she's not that silly. She's not going for that. At Bree, I'll open the door with a Rolex for you. And Bree does, deserve to be treated like a lady. You will open doors for her. You will be respectful. And that's how that works. So, yeah. Bree, when are you coming down to visit me in Mexico? Brett is down in Mexico. Blue's laughing out loud. Bree, you should give Blue the opportunity to wow you. Well, she just did. She just invited him to become a Patreon for starters. That's a way to get your foot in the door at least. At least a $25 level Patreon for sure. Kyle's in the house. Give Blue the opportunity to let you spend all his money. And Durr says Tudor sucks in full caps. And he owns one, I think. Blue says, my money is for the ladies. Yeah. Sent another link to an Oyster Pretzel 26 and Oyster Pretzel 31, both crepe tiles. Okay, let's look. And let's look. Okay, let's look at the first one. Very interesting. I'm thinking for that price we could probably get one pretty close to get a new one. Pretty close. But yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But I think if she's going to spend that kind of money, I think she should try to get something with a Jubilee, even if she has to go with a date just. I think she needs I think a Jubilee would be a good play. Let's look at the second one here. Yeah, I like the first one first. That Roman doll looks busy to me, I think. But yeah, good suggestions. Oh, I didn't show them. What the heck was I doing? Okay, that one. There's the first one that I think is a definite contender. Definite contender. The real question is, does she prefer the the Jubilee bracelet or the Oyster. Let's see. She's kind of classy, so I think she would probably like the Jubilee. Do not wear a gold Rolex unless you know karate and kung fu. I guess that's what you meant. She is studying. She is studying the martial arts. Okay. Patreon is the gentleman. Okay. Suzuki Sidekick. I have not seen one of those in 10 years, Leon. Bree needs a nice mid-size Rolex Oyster Perpetual. Eduardo in the house. I bet it was Lance, and he's waiting for the big reveal. The Port TGV bought the 005. Says Durr. That's interesting. Durr's making a bold statement there. Lewis is in the house. He did say he had first dibs. Durr says, now we just need a picture of Bree in an oversized shirt while eating pizza at the same time. Perfection. Well, make a note of that, lovely Bree. We'll have to do that. That sounds like a good plan. Let's see. Lance is in the house, and he says at the Port GGB 2020, I was considering buying the 005, but I didn't pull the trigger. Port GGV at Lewis are Craig was asking too much money. Okay, there you go. And Cheetown, you have interesting fantasies. Well, I do have a picture of her eating pizza. Let me pull that up. I don't know if I don't know if I indexed it though on pizza. I probably did. Let me search pizza and see if it comes up. The lovely Brianna. Yeah, it came up. So let me reload this, make sure it's sharp. Okay. The lovely Bree. The lovely Brianna eating pizza. And I'll tell you what, that was good pizza. I had a slice or two myself. That was at Adventure Park USA. Adventure Park USA, we had some pizza. Some pizza. If the lovely Bree is still hanging around, maybe she can comment as to whether or not that pizza was any good. As to whether or not that pizza was any good. Because she did eat some. Let's see. Leslie and I got rid of some of the coolest cars in favor of reliability. Lexus is butt ugly, but it's in great shape and hopefully reliable. I hope you checked it out, Kyle, and made sure it had not been hit and fixed or anything like that. That's the important thing. You know, and I always like to get garage kept, one owner if possible, low mileage, all those kind of good things is what I look for in a used car. Let's see, one of my favorite aspects of driving a Toyota Lexus is that you just blend in with the rest of the traffic. There you go. Well, and also you get there. you arrive at your destination. That's always a plus. They tend to not fail to proceed. Let's see. Leslie, using common sense with her car purchase is just an absolute illogical travesty, mate. Would you be a sugar baby for a rich woman, Craig, if Steve's next event, a lady buys a watch for you and then starts fondling, would you be okay with it? Let's say she whispers in your ear. Well, it depends on how nice the watch is. Yeah, it depends on how nice the watch is. We can negotiate. Absolutely. I can be taken advantage of. That's how that whole thing works. That's the way of the world. That's the way of the world. Let's see here. Durr's in the house. Craig, what is the logo on your shirt? Is it a polar bear with an inner tube around this? That's Brooks Brothers. This is a Brooks Brothers shirt. That's a Brooks Brothers Warthog or whatever the heck it is. I don't know what the heck it is. But that's what that, and this was what back in the day when a shirt like this from Brooks Brothers was made in the United States of America. Good luck finding that now. Good luck with all that. Let's see. I bought Bitcoin at $10. Triforce Rich. Good move. Good move. is Elmore Jantry says, is Bree your daughter? I don't think so. I don't think so. It's possible. I don't think so. I got around back in the day, but I don't think so. Dur's in the house. I have a bit of coin, but not Bitcoin. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate, Dur. Lewis is in the house. I got my like new 005 for $2,000. Got to time your watch purchase with new releases. The flippers get desperate then to get rid of old watches for the new ones. Good move. Good move, Lewis. The Port TGV 2020, they say there's a coin shortage around the country. Okay. There you go. Let's see. Triforce Rich, LOL. Someone needs to turn Craig's martial arts move into a GIF. Okay. Did you guys just see Craig's kung fu moves? I guarantee you wouldn't want to meet him in the back alley unless you wanted your butt kicked. Yeah, I did have one guy in Baltimore. I told that story a couple times. You know, he approached me. He wanted to take my stuff. He didn't say stuff, but he was stepping to me. He wanted to make a move, but he backed down. Fortunate for him, he backed down on that whole situation. Leon's in the house. Kyle Jet, that is right. You live in California, land of the overpriced car and overpriced everything. The pizza looks the exact opposite of Tudor. Real good. Duh. Lance is in the house. Mid-2000s BMWs and Volvos with certain engines were very reliable. Yeah, I'd pass on all those. I'd pass on all those, Lance, because there's a lot of other things to go wrong on them other than just the engines. They're a bag of hurt. But let's see. Blue, Tudor, ironically, was the name of the pizza parlor. Okay. Used cars in California are a ripoff. Here in San Diego, the used car market is overpriced compared to LA. Okay. Let's see. I had a 2007 5 Series, and I can assure you that it was unreliable. You'd swear that the check engine light was broken. It was on so much. Let's see. And Elmer Jantry says lamb. Okay. Lance, I've owned 7 or 8 BMWs. It will always be my favorite. There you go. Kyle's kind of a glutton for punishment. Get yourself an LS sedan and call it a day, Kyle. Not the new one, but like an LS 460. Get yourself an LS 460 loaded, one owner car, like about a 10-year-old car, one owner, garage kept with like 35,000 miles on it or something from a little old lady. Get yourself that and call it a day. Let's see, Triforce Rich. Oh, well, it's a sheep, isn't it? Okay. Don't think so. Lance, mid-2000s was not a good period for BMW. They started switching over to plastic parts. My family had an E46 328i, and it was absolute junk. There you go. Was it a 535i? Okay. I'm telling you, it's a polar bear. Okay. Triforce Rich, any update when you're going to start your channel so we can start slimming down the collection? Let's see, kind of looks like, okay. I've used to have a 2009 X3 30i and had no problems, extremely reliable. Well, you might have dodged a bullet. And the lovely Buford Stance says, I don't think he is my father either. Haha. There you go. And Yeah, I don't think she got those fantastic looks from me. I don't think that's the case. I mean, I just have to be realistic. Sometimes you have to be realistic about things, right? I think she looks a whole lot better than being that my offspring would generate. So there's that. And she's also a whole lot smarter than me, too. So, she probably comes from other stock. Cheetown's in the house. I can also tell you folks that early 2000s Volvos went downhill in quality compared to the 90s ones. Too many plastic parts and unreliable transmissions. See, I was selling them back in the early 80s. They were pretty solid cars, but I still wouldn't take one over a Toyota. Not in a million years. Not unless you want, not unless you're like a glutton for punishment. Dur's in the house. By the way, we're going to have to wrap this up pretty soon. We're coming up on 6 o'clock. Let me try to catch up here real quick. No time to get anything done. Okay. Craig, don't forget my email. Oh, let's check emails. Emails. Yeah, guys, always remind me because sometimes I get caught up in the chat and it's possible I'll even miss. See, here's the thing, though. Lance sent this one. I don't think we want to go with a 5-digit piece. That's a good-looking piece, though. I grant you, that's a good-looking piece. But I don't think we want to go 5-digit. I think most of these have hollow end links. I would rather her have something with solid end links. I don't mind the stamped clasp. I've talked about that before, but I do kind of like solid end links, and I'm not sure this one has solid end links. I can't tell. They're not showing a picture showing that. So I don't think the 5-digit ones here have that. So there's that. Okay. Now let's get to the cars. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay. And there's the Suzuki, I guess, that went down the road. And there's the M5. That's a beauty. Absolutely. If you're going to have a BMW, you want an M series. And there's the lovely Leslie in between the two. And there's the Lexus. Absolutely. Why not? I say, why not? I think it looks cool. I don't think it's ugly. I think it looks like somebody's intelligent. And there's the intelligent person. Absolutely, positively. I like it. I like the wood. I like the color. I think the color looks good on her. I think she can wear anything in that and it'll go. It's not going to clash with anything. I think it's cool. I'm going to give 2 thumbs up on Leslie's vehicle. Okay. Let's see. Okay, the only GS may suit Bree is the STGK009 100 meters. Does it have a screw-down crown, though, Tim? Because I don't really want to get a watch for her that doesn't have a screw-down crown. Mike's in the house. Greg's the kind of guy that would rip off your arm and beat you to death with it. Okay. Sent a photo of another 26 millimeter Datejust. I think I may have pulled that up already. Okay. I used to own a 2004 Volvo and it ran beautifully until I crashed it. Car was totaled. I came out without a scratch. Well, there you go. They are known for their safety, but Toyotas are pretty safe too. That Lexus right there will be very safe for her. Okay. Let's see. Deport TGV 2020. Did you total it in Mario Kart? Okay. All right. Eduardo, Craig admitted you always carry the strap. Craig admitted you always carry the strap. It's not his belt. Okay. Derek's in the house. Craig, you will get the date 8, right? Derek is consistent. You got to give him that. Leon's in the house. I miss my 1990 Volvo 240DL. Bulletproof. The small issues that it had were fixed easily by me with hand tools. It had close to 300,000 miles on it. The Volvo 240 last. There you go. Well, good. Well done. Let's see. Why is there considerable disdain for Tudor in the house? There's just a lot of better options out there. I mean, you only get one go round on this whole thing. Why would you give a Tudor your wrist time? Why would you do that? I don't get that whole thing. Let's see. If Rolls-Royce was as reliable as a GS Spring Drive, would you buy one? Oh my gosh! If it was as reliable as a Lexus, I would buy one. I think they're gorgeous cars. The problem is they are far from reliable. That's the problem. They're gorgeous. But you know, like I said, an LS sedan has very comfortable seats. They're very nice cars. You know, if you buy the top of the line one, they're very well appointed. I mean, there's not that much downside to going with that. Now, of course, the Rolls would be like a Phantom. They're awesome, right? But man, be ready to lay out some scratch from time to time when it fails to proceed. They don't break down. They never break down. They simply fail to proceed. Let's see. Craig, show us a Crocodile Dundee knife again and then do a couple more karate moves with it. We should start an action film called Crocodile. Craig, okay, we don't have time in this show to do it, but remind me next show earlier and we will do it. See, he's trying to extend the show is what he's trying to do. I'm on to his moves, you know. I got hit by a blue homing missile turtle shell. Okay. I don't like BMWs, but that M3 is M3 or M5. I think this is an M5. It's stunning. Oh, absolutely. That's the way to go. If you're going to go BMW, get the M series. I would like a Volvo over Toyota. I gave Toyota my business once, and that's it. I hope Toyota winds up like GM and collapses. Okay. Awesome car, Leslie. That Lexus is but ugly and zero fun compared to my BMW, but it's still more reliable for sure. That's pretty, Leslie. Bree, see, Bree likes it. Bree says, nice job. And Toyotas might be reliable, but the build quality just doesn't compare with European cars. What? Are you out of your mind? The build quality is much better. It's not even a close call. Triforce Rich is in the house. California, if they were reliable, would you like them? They're fantastic driving cars. It's reliability that kills them. I love my BMW when it worked. Okay. The Lexus is like the ugly friend when it's right next to like the ugly friend when it's right next to Leslie, but by itself the Lexus looks all right. Well, yeah, but I think Leslie adds a lot of class to the car and brings it up, pulls its level up. I think that's how that whole thing works. I bet whoever bought the Suzuki must have been a character. Screw-down crowns are a myth of Rolex. You don't need a screw-down crown for water-resistant. Yeah, but I think that what the screw-down crown does, is it holds it in place, and it makes it so she definitively has to take an action to pull the crown out, and it's not going to be accidentally pulled out or whatever. You know, it's seated. It keeps it seated. It's not what creates the seal, but it keeps it seated in a particular position. That's why I'm a fan of the screw-down crown. And also, if it gets like knocked a little bit, right, it just kind of holds that in place. So I think it's more robust, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And that may be a myth, but I'm sticking with it. Let's see. Insanely good condition. Craig, you need a day date badly, says Brett. Oh, okay. Let's see. Trust me, I wore day dates for years, and that 002 trumps a day date. Just straight up trumps it and just stomps all over it. It's just eat completely up with class. It just is. When that's on wrist and you're dressed nice, I mean, Katie, bar the door. That's the way to go. Let's see here. Lexus does not offer stick shift automatic. Okay. Okay. I'd rather wear. Okay. Yeah, I'm just blowing through these comments here real quick because we need to wrap this up. Craig, I think Lance meant build materials, not quality, when he was talking about European cars. I think the materials are better. I think everything's better. I think Toyota is like way up. That's why they last so long. That's why they hold up so well. The Mercedes that I had back in the day, the horsehair that they used in the seats, over a period of time, they always crushed down, and you had to have the seats redone, and it was just a lot of these cars that you people think are just super well made and all that. A lot of them had issues, and Toyota solved all those issues, and so. Yeah, that's the way it is. I hate to say it. And a lot of those cars rusted out like there's no tomorrow. I mean, there were a lot of problems. And Toyota came in and pretty much over time, it took them a while, but they got it right. A lot of the early Toyotas rusted like, no tomorrow. I mean, they had issues too, right? But they worked all that stuff out. And these days, they're pretty rock solid. Okay, I think I'm going to have to wrap this up, guys. You guys are just going on and on in here. Okay. All right. We're going to wrap this puppy up. We got 40 live viewers. Holy cow. European cars have the best interiors. Have you seen a Lexus LS 460? Have you been inside a Lexus LS 460? They're pretty freaking awesome. I'll give you a hint. Okay, let's go back to that is going to be my 2-watch rotation, folks. That was the subject of the show. That is going to be my new 2-watch rotation. And since the lovely Bree was kind enough to be in here and hang out, Derek says don't wrap up. I have to. I'm getting hungry. Since she was kind enough, we're going to go ahead and give a plug for her website, BreeFitDance.com. BreeFitDance.com. And Derek says, I can't deal with my ex-wife today. Holy cow. Oh, boy. Our Wag says, have a good evening, Chip. Okay. I need this excuse. Durr's in the house. I think Tudor wants to rename their GMT Toyota so they can trick people into thinking that it's a functional watch with a functional date wheel. There you go. All right, folks. On that note, I'm going to suggest that you subscribe to my channel and, of course, follow Bree on all of her social media. And Lewis says, doesn't feel right. Craig needs a trifecta. Don't wrap this puppy up, says Durr. Sorry about that, but we're going to have to wrap this puppy up. You're going to have to get your broadcasts going so that you can keep these people entertained. But hopefully we'll be back tomorrow. And the lovely Bree Fitz-Dance says, thank you all. She's a classy young lady. And Eduardo says, Triforce Turbski wouldn't hurt. I'm not sure what that is. Okay. All right. We're going to wrap this up. Thanks again. Click subscribe. Click the little notification thingamajig. The bell.